Peanut butter Nelly time. Peanut butter Nelly time. What do we want? We need to fix the white balance. Oh yeah, there we go. Turn that camera. Shit on the floor. And we got to take care of this northern exposure. Turn this down, maybe. Can this turn down? Fuck, that's all. Slower it goes. This like TikTok camera is kind of blown out. I don't understand why. It's the same feed that Riverside gets. I don't know. We're figuring it out slowly but surely. One of these days we'll be a media empire. Check the Twitch. Check the tube. Ooh, a little cough there. Okay, got a little cough. Oh, who's buzzing me? Who's buzzing me? Asshole. You're an asshole. Here, what do we want? I'm gonna fix the TikTok. Turn off the exposure, maybe. Oh, that's dark. I like that, I guess. Is my shirt looking that dark though? There we go. I think that's a little better. All right, apply. And remember. All right, everybody. Who's ready to get this thing loaded up and going? Go live, TikTok machine. That's just Nelson. That's just Nelson. Going live. So fucking stupid. Oh, why would anybody watch this stupid show? I don't know. I don't care, honestly. I mean, I care, but I don't care. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to hurt myself caring. I can't do that. I can't expose myself. I kind of do it, Captain. Yeah. A TikTok. Slave. See ya. Get your gifts. Get your gifts in, and then I'll make a little noise for you. I don't know what the fuck that accent is. Okay. I know that if I get around, I'm a mimic, and I hate that because it's like a douchebag move to do. But if I get around somebody who's got an accent, I can't, like, stupid American in me can't stop myself from trying to do that accent back at them. I just say, go with it, I guess. At this point, why fight it? So I've got to, give me 1 second here. I want to make a post. Here we go. So stupid. Have you checked out my new podcast yet? Dumb. I'm posting this to LinkedIn, by the way. Why? I don't know. I just haven't posted anything to LinkedIn. I've seen other people post to LinkedIn. Which one is it, or do you care or don't? Haha. Do you or do you not care? I don't know. I do, but I don't. Here's the thing. Like, I used to have this back and forth dialogue with a person that I worked with. And this person would get like a little stressed out about being on the air, because it can be like, it's so stupid to say this, but it can be like a frightening proposition to be on a radio station. It can. Radio kind of attracted, especially early on, it attracted people who would normally not be the personalities that they are when they get on the radio. It's like they got drunk on the microphone, right? And so, like, sometimes people get it in their heads that they start like imagining all the people that are listening. And I mean, even now in 2025 at a radio station, even in a city the size of Omaha, there's thousands of people listening, right? So there's people listening. But like, the beauty of radio is that you can't tell. You don't know. You can't see anybody. You don't, like, with the live streaming now you can, and is like radio embraces that. That's a thing that can happen. What's up, Brandon? So I can proudly say that in like a 45-mile radius, I'll brag. You tell anybody, run this at anybody you want to run it at, okay? And I'll back it up with facts. But since 2020, okay, since the pandemic, if there is a radio station that's within 45 miles of Lincoln, Nebraska, and they're doing Facebook live feeds during their show with like cameras as if they're, a multifaceted camera set up and it's got this quality broadcast audio to it. If you're seeing that, that's because of me. That's because of me. And I don't often like pat myself on the back for a lot of stuff. But like, we fought tooth and nail to put this together for radio. When I first said, hey, to Gary and Johanna, we should try and put Why Am I Still Single? We should try and put that on Facebook Live. Why not? Just give an extra layer to the show, right? Froggy had this gigantic Facebook page. Because right when I got there in 2011? Yeah, because I got married 11/11/11. So I got there in December of 2011. Well, leading up to that, Froggy was a CMT affiliate. So at night they hosted Cody, whatever, I can't think of his name. Doesn't matter. Cody Allen and CMT at night. And so they did this contest where it was like, oh, hey, whichever CMT affiliate can get the most votes on such and such a post, then they're going to, what's up, Tyler? They're going to get a Dierks Bentley acoustic show. It's the first time I got a chance to meet Rich Cassidy. Do you ever see Rich Cassidy on TikTok? You got to check him out. Guy is blowing up, telling like really good stories about like old country music and everything. So if you're into country music, you got to check out Rich Cassidy. Shout out Cassidy. So lame. Shout out. But that's where I met Cassidy for the first time. Like, I'd interacted with him online a little bit, and I knew him from the fact that I was in Omaha and he was in Omaha. And they had won it. Well, so we started leveraging that when we were doing Why Am I Still Single? And at first it started out was every Thursday. That's the only time we were going live. We're going live a little bit before the bit and then during the bit itself. And the way we did it was on a cell phone. Well, I actually have the piece of equipment that I bought. I started doing this research, like, well, there's got to be a better way because the cell phone audio sounds like garbage. Like, it's better than a phone call, but it's still not good. What's up, Vanessa? Over there on what? You got Facebook? Yep, Vanessa's on Facebook. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you want to be a part of this. If you're on TikTok, we love you for being on TikTok. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of this thing that used to be a radio show. But before we got to this, like the video game streamer style, like using webcams and all that, finding out about OBS and all those programs. Before we got to that, I found this. It's cool as hell. I'll give you a little education. Aaliyah, thank you. Twitch for life. What up? So in audio, see that there? I don't know if it's focusing. Okay. So in audio, you have different rings that are on the post of the equipment you're using, whether it's to broadcast from one channel to another, or you're going a pair of headphones, a microphone. It's all done through this, right? And so that's for the TikTok feed. You can see this is a pair of headphones, and you see that there's three pieces, right, with two little rings. And there you go for, it's not really focusing, is it? You can kind of see it's blurry. for everybody else, right? Okay. So that's called tip, ring in the middle, sleeve all the way down. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You can't just plug anything into anything and it will always work, especially when you want to use it as a microphone. So when it comes to the newer technology, you see that there's an extra one in there. Ooh, it's so shiny. There's an extra one. Look at that. Get an extra. Okay. So here's how it works. With tip, ring, sleeve, you've got left on one part, right on the other part. And then that's the power that's coming through there. That's what gives you stereo. So if on the radio or whatever CD you're listening to, they've affected the pan, so stuff's on like a symphony of violins only coming out of the right headphone, that's why it can do that, because it's tip, ring, sleeve, right? Now, in order to get a microphone or any kind of line-in input, you need tip, ring, sleeve, wherein one of the rings is left, one of the rings is right audio, and then the extra one is where you're getting the microphone return. So one way, one going out, one coming in. So when we first put this into the cell phone, immediately no one else in radio was doing anything like this. Aside from like, now I say that, but there was like major market stations and they spent like tens of thousands of dollars and they built basically their own TV sets. And even then they were only broadcasting that stuff to their websites. So unless you were already a fan of the radio station and you found out about the website, you were not going to find the website on accident, right? So social media obviously is the boon. Social media is the place that you want to have everything happening. Oh, Julie. See, now Julie's over on YouTube and she says, oh gosh, I remember when you started doing those lives on Why Am I Still Single? And it was like revolutionary the way that we did that. I don't know if it showed. There it goes. So no one else was doing that. Again, like I said, aside from radio stations that had spent exorbitant amounts of money to then go and broadcast it just to their websites. And then slowly, it's all thanks, and I got to check in on this guy because he was sick for a little while. But it's all thanks to this radio station called KUPL in Portland. And KUPL is like a legendary country station as well. Like it's a huge one. And it used to still have local talent. Now I think it's got Bones on in the morning. Bobby Bones is a nationally syndicated guy. And I say that with disdain, but there's no way that doesn't come off as jealous. Okay. So like, I respect that. I can understand how that comes off or how that tastes a little bitter. He was a nice guy. I met him one time at a morning show camp, but none of that matters. So as we're making all of these video productions that we're putting together, I noticed that there was this radio station. There was this morning show on KUPL because the stations followed each other. And I noticed that they had gone Facebook Live and they had webcams and just like a rudimentary background. So luckily I reach out to the guy named Jake. I say, hey, Jake, I'm a country DJ. That's crazy. I noticed that you've got the multicam Facebook broadcast. How did you do it? Oh, and then he just laundry list, unheard of in radio. Because here's the beautiful thing I found out about it in podcasting is like everybody love everybody. It's just a huge collaborative event. A huge collaborative event. But when it comes to radio, everyone's like, no. There was a guy, and I won't name him because he's a really great guy, and I like him, and he's super successful. But he was very indicative of what radio was, and that was you don't take his stuff. Don't even ask him for a guest contact. He made that contact. He's not giving it up. So, oh, all right. So dudes get territorial. So for this guy to be so magnanimous, and yeah, the bull, there you go. So for them to be so magnanimous and so giving, it was a fresh change. It was something nice to see in broadcast. Finally, somebody sticking up for somebody else. And so he goes, oh yeah, you got to get OBS. I go, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, that's how all the video game streamers are doing it. And I go, all right, I guess I got to learn this dang thing because I'd heard of OBS, but I hadn't really used it yet. And so then I didn't want to wait. So I went and bought all the cams myself. And it was just like it was such a fun time discovering new ways to set them up. Like I went and got PVC pipes and then I hung that from the ceiling so that when there was the listener cam, because we did all of this for Why Am I Still Single, which is a dating show. And it evolved. First, Why Am I Still Single was literally, we would get someone on the show and then we would ask them, why do you think you're still single? And then we would get like their best friend on. And then the best friend would be like, oh, I think they're single because of this. Love you too, baby. But then it was eventually a blind date. Literally. They came into the radio station. They came in. It's just, to me, it's still, I still can't even wrap my head around it. Because the size of the cities in the country are basically the line in which the radio markets go. So it's like the city proper and then the surrounding area, right? So like when it comes to New York City, like Manhattan is one piece of it, but then it's the boroughs, it's everything, it's all the surrounding area. Okay, so like you would think, New York City is number 1, LA is number 2, Chicago number 3, San Francisco number 4, Omaha, where I live, is Omaha Council Bluffs. So Omaha itself has 700,000 people, and there's another 60 over, it's close to 1 million in the whole area. But radio only counts people who are 12 and up. So the population of the Omaha Council Bluffs radio market is 780 some thousand, I think. It's somewhere in the 700,000s, and it sets Omaha at market number 76. Lincoln was market number 169. There's 250,000 people basically, or there was when I was there. Okay. So to every Thursday have 2 people, male and female, come in and be a part of some radio bit, it was unheard of. Like, so even before the numbers were there in the ratings books, we were already the number 1 show around. It just, this one guy in town happened to have all of the votes at that point because he didn't have any competition in his genre. Kidding? So we would have people come in. And slowly it evolved. We got these cameras. I said I didn't want to wait, so I went and bought all the webcams, and we ran all the things. Like I said, there was a ceiling cam. Gary and I put together this PVC concoction that I made. It's so stupid, but it was so fun. And then it was like a periscope. Boom, boom. So many reasons why I left radio. I secretly want to get back into it without all the drama and politics. Omaha radio market is just, I just love... It's on YouTube. I just love Omaha, man. Oh, it's Tyler. I love Omaha. I love Omaha radio. I love doing this podcast. So honestly, if I grow this podcast to a thing where I can feed my kids, I mean, it would have to be a very attractive offer to go back to radio, which sounds so pompous. Like, who the hell am I? But like, I would love... If we're supposed to manifest and we're putting things out into the universe, I would love the opportunity to try and follow Todd and Tyler whenever the 2 of them decided to hang it up. It's a station called Z92 in Omaha. And they've been on the air for 30 years. 30 years easy. I mean, they're so big. They were syndicated. They are syndicated, I think, still. But like, they're so big that they run their show in the morning and then they run it again at night. And it's worth it to the radio station to do it, right? They're that huge a show. So when those 2 guys say, you know what, it's enough is enough, whatever, we're out of here. I would kill for the chance to go and fail at that gig. I don't care. Because you have nothing to lose. Following a heritage show like that, there is literally nowhere to go. You're going to be at the very bottom. So if you get a nice handoff, it would totally be predicated on the handoff. Like if the company ends up screwing them, then it's not going to, whoever is coming in after them is hosed no matter what. There's not a chance. Doesn't matter if they came back on the air and were just like, hey, don't do that. Be nice. There's no way. But if it was, hey guys, Todd and I have been doing this. I don't know why I'm thinking of Tyler. We've been doing this for a long time and we're ready to try and move on. And then I think if they were to introduce the next person, or there just would be a handoff of some kind, a passing of the torch, which of course would go to Big P. Like if anyone was going to get to take over the show when they left, it would be Big P. Now, if they just blow out the show, then like I said, the next probably 2 shows are not going to be able to get a foothold in. What do I know? I'm a 20-year radio vet. That's it. No big deal. Just the guy knows freaking radio. Jen says, I just watched the Dark Side of 2000s episode on radio with DJs like Howard Stern and Don Imus. Never collaborated then. Total war of the radio. Except that was it was a different time for one. Like there's no one in town that I would fight with. For one, there's nobody in town who would fight back. Like Todd and Tyler, maybe. You could maybe rib DeGan enough to do it over at Channel. I don't know. I've only run into DeGan a handful of times, and then I've just worked with everyone who's ever worked with him. So maybe the fantasy I have in my head is that I could get DeGan worked up if you wanted to do like a radio war. You could convince Spicoli behind the scenes to get into a radio war, I think. It would take some doing. I think he would be on board. I think if he could be sneaky about it and like it would be behind the scenes completely. Like nobody in management knows on either side that there's some collaborative effort and the two warring bodies were feeding each other. I think you could make a really big like WWE size radio war with Spicoli over on 98.5. I think you could. I know he's got it in him. I don't know if he would do it in that format, for being honest. But, you know, I love talking radio. 93.3 The Dam. We got college kids working on our radio station too. So they had to get rid of the name K-Rock. 93.3 was a rock station, and then the K-Rock, KROQ, like put a cease and desist out. So all K-Rocks across the country had to stop being K-Rock. And so the River was a 100,000 watt station in Omaha. All you need to know about radio stations is the most power any radio station in New York City or anywhere else can have on the FM side of the dial is 100,000 watts. Okay. The River is a college radio station, which is unheard of at 100,000 watts. So it doesn't have to compete in the ratings because it doesn't have to make money on the radio. It makes money in concerts. It doesn't even need to do that because it's a recruiting arm for the college, and the college then can broadcast all of its sports, which it does. It's genius. So it gets to be this thing that doesn't exist anywhere else in the country, and that is a half active rock, half alternative radio station. You can be one or the other. Like when I was on in Sacramento, they had 2 stations. One of them was active rock, and one of them was alternative. The 2 of them did not come together. And in fact, the one wasn't even active rock. We just played active rock with a heavy classic rock backing. And then there was a wholly alternative station. I think it was called Alt 94.1 or something. I think Alt was even in the name. I don't know. I don't pay attention real well. Yeah, I feel that way too, Tyler. I think that you could convince Spicoli to do it. He would be boned up about it. I promise you, he'd be champing at the bit. But the problem, and I don't mean the problem, but it's the problem. The problem with Spicoli is you couldn't give him too much time to ruminate on it. Like you'd have to kick off the war immediately, and then he would be too far into it. So we'd have to continue. Because if you gave him too much time to think about it, I think he would psych himself out. That's all. That's not a condemnation of him. I like him very much. And he and I have really bonded in the last, couple of years, just because, as far as young people in radio, I'm one of the closest in terms of like time in the game to him. He was hosting the morning show when I got into college. So factor in the other years that he was already on doing the afternoon show and all of that. So the guy's got like a 5-6 year head start on me. But in terms of guys our age, I'm one of the few peers, and he's one of my few peers at that, at that same level. So it's been very interesting and kind of, fulfilling. I guess it's been nice to kind of put that together with him. But yeah, I think you could get Spicoli to secretly have a radio war. And I think it could be really fun, and it wouldn't have to be dirty. It wouldn't have to be stern. I mean, you don't have to, I mean, it would not have to be a funeral for the show that's not number one anymore. None of that would have to happen. You could do a really interesting, just like prank phone calls and like, oh no, how did you get on our radio broadcast again? And like, you could do some stuff with like, what would be really cool is if you could get a competing radio station, because you would go tit for tat, you go back and forth to do it. But you get a competing radio station to take 30 seconds of your radio station's audio. And then you would like put static noise on either side of it. And then you would let it bleed through. You wouldn't have it like a full strength signal, but you would have it like, you would have that radio station with the morning show go, hey guys, oh my God, I can't believe it's working. We've broken into their signal. You got to check us out over at 94. And so it's like you would get to say the show's name, but maybe you don't get to say the radio station call letters. Yo, it's Nelson from over at 94. Check us out. It would just like dip in and out. That would be a really fun and inventive bit. And people would talk about it. People would talk about it in a way that like nobody talks about radio anymore. So why would they talk about it? Because it would be that like, what? What is that? Did you hear that? For as much as I see Brooke and Jubal audio from Second Date Update trending on TikTok, I know that would blow up because it would get picked up by the trades. But there's just no creativity and no collaboration, like I said, like that in radio. You could start a podcast war. I don't know who I want. Maybe I will. I gotta finish this post and then we're gonna go live. We're gonna go live with the show. It's called That's Just Nelson. You can find it on Apple, Spotify. All right, post it. Post it, dude. God, why is this computer so freaking slow? Okay, 11 minutes to 6 minutes. Instant jump up here. Instant jump up. The jump up. What's chaotic? I'm just telling you all about radio. It's ADHD, right? This is an ADHD show. I used to hang out with the Virgin on 1019 The Edge. I think he's in St. Louis now. Edge Fest, remember that? I do. How about this? The first guy I ever worked for, the first morning show I ever worked for was Pat and JT, right? Well, Pat used to be the night guy at The Edge. The Edge was a rock station, an alternative rock station. What do you mean? Connect. What's going on with this damn internet? Did you connect to TikTok? There you go. Okay, we're still here. Okay, I see likes coming in. I see like it still says couldn't connect. Trying to reconnect now. Send a like if it's live on TikTok, guys. There we go. See, there's likes. So thank you, Frost. No, that's not. That's somebody else. Thank you, whoever's sending those likes. Keep the likes going. Tap the screen, guys. That's what we're supposed to say. I'm supposed to say tap the screen, share it out to your friends. Push this thing out, guys. We got to make this thing an empire. We're small, but we're mighty. Okay? Kylie, what are you doing? Are you lurking or are you in? How's my boy Joe? I haven't talked to anybody over there in a while. Steve's girl have that baby yet? This is a little chaotic. Leah. All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. What? No, go back. There we go. Just a radio war with Spicoli. LOL. He'd for sure be for it, but definitely be quick with the game plan about it and have an action. Oh yeah, it would have to start tomorrow. It would be like, hey, can I talk to you for 30 seconds right before your show? And then you just get whipped up into a frenzy. It would be good. And you know what? He would have the production chops to be able to do it. He would have the production chops to be able to do it. So I want to put a period on this because the story I was telling you about, I was bragging about why everybody on radio is doing this stuff because of us. It's really because of the success of the show. But the success of the show, like the video stuff itself, I did all of that. I taught myself how to do it. I found all the equipment. I did all the research or whatever. At one point, I tried to sell the equipment as a package to other radio stations. I tried one time, and the engineer at that station goes, "We'll just grab all this stuff ourselves. Thanks." Oh, son of a. So what I learned from that is that I should have been trying to sell myself as a consultant, which is, I feel so stupid saying, but like, I don't know. I know best practices when it comes to doing bits and stuff on taking radio and putting it onto social media. Do I? I don't know. I don't know. But there was a point where we were getting thousands of people to watch on a Thursday. And then the pandemic hits. And because only one of us was in the studio any one time, we were already on Zoom to talk to each other. Gary and Johanna and I at Froggy and Lincoln. We're back. And so what ended up happening was we go, well, if we're already going to be on Zoom, why don't we just do the whole show? I mean, from 7 to 9, 2 hours of the 3 that we're on. Why don't we just do that on Facebook Live? And it's a monster. It's still a monster. I mean, when I left, the average view count was 250 in just the normal, boring part of the show. Like at the lowest dip, when everyone is going back into work, there's still over 200 people watching, which is insanity, again, for a city that's 250,000 people. Like we would watch major national broadcasters and they weren't getting the numbers that we were getting. So when you see radio, especially in the Omaha, Lincoln, and beyond little area here, and you see them on Facebook Live, that's my fault. You're welcome, radio. What did you do for me? Nothing. You can't think like that. It's entitled. I fail. I don't like that. I don't like that I felt that way. But you can't change how you feel, can you? Or maybe you can. Maybe that's the beauty of being a human. That show last night with Cam was so funny. I'm going to post a clip to the other places too after this show. You have got to go. Just specifically, just the 3 minutes of me talking about the 3 minutes of me talking about not being able to like come up with a better story for why I picked the CrossFit gym I picked. And I just think it's the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. Oh my God, it was awesome. I promise you that. I promise you that. Are we ready? Are we ready for a show? Do I have a show? I do have a show. I do have a show. What do I want here? I don't have any audio from this because it's... All right. Well, I guess we do the damn thing, right? Oh, we need to get the slate out. I almost forgot about the slate. I gotta redo the whole thing. I don't even know why I care about the slate. I don't know if the AI picks up on the slate. Yeah, I have AI help me edit this shit. What do you want me to do? I'm one man, and I'm not very good at it. So I'm embracing technology. Q bars. That's just Nelson. I always worry that I don't give myself enough room. You're like real wide on the one side and then you're not on the other side. Episode 012. We in them double dig. Okay, welcome. Just in time. Just in time to start the show. How about this, though? That'd be, This Used to Be a Radio Show presents That's Just Nelson, episode 12.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start.
Are you ready? I'm so excited!
It's Nelson time. It's Nelson time. It's Nelson. It's Nelson time. Oh, if you want to know what's going on, it's Nelson time, yeah. It's
sing along to your own song.
Nelson. It's Nelson time. Oh, yeah.
That's just
Yes.
Nelson.
Who?
That's just Nelson.
Thank you. Just in case I forgot. What's happening?
You're listening to That's Just Nelson.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. May I have another? No. I will not have another. Yes, I'm a hero. I'm a hero for not playing it again. And that's just Nelson. That's how you can find me and the show on social media, anywhere. It's very conveniently branded, okay? Your boy lucked out. I don't do a lot of things right, but I got the damn brand right. 402-302-1005. That's the phone number to the show. And text messages, message and data rates may apply, but it's a phone. You know what I mean? We're a low budget operation at this point. So it's essentially connected to my cell phone. Don't tell people that's my cell phone number. And currently under construction, that's just Nelson.com. Yes, that's just Nelson.com. Eventually will be a fully fledged website for you to go to. Book me for voice work. I can come and be a special event DJ. I've got the equipment for that. Or if you need me to power wash your driveway, get you a guy who can do it all. It's more than just a podcast. Hello? Is this thing on? We record it every day in the evening time. Okay, it's a little easier on Daddy because all the kids are asleep. And if you want to ever watch the whole thing live and get some bonus content, well, you can do that across any of your favorite social media live streaming platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Now, everything a consultant has taught me about in radio says you didn't listen to any of that. And that's fine. That's fine. Because you're here. Podcasting is a little bit different. Podcasting's got a little bit more of a captive audience. I mean, people want to be here. They're going out of their way. So if you want to get in, there's opportunity. Now, for some people, that are fans already of the show, we thank you. You are two bars. This used to be a radio show. That's the name of the whole network at this point. Like originally, the whole radio show was just going to be, this used to be a radio show. But I feel like that it's a nice umbrella. Okay. So if you're using this and you're sharing things or you're interacting with some of the stuff online, make sure you use that hashtag TU, the number 2. BARS, little a, everything else capital. I don't know why. I don't know why he said it the fly. A friend of mine and a friend of me as a broadcaster was listening and watching last night, and I did not get to a text message that she had sent. And it was, it was a doozy. It was a doozy, this text message that got sent. And I originally wanted it to tie in to everything else that was happening. And, sometimes time gets away from you. It was a long episode already last night. And so Nay texts into me and she goes, hey, I got something for you. If you need some content, it's all about the content. If you need some content, my grieving father started dating again. Already hook, right? I mean, already I'm in. Because I watched that happen with my dad. Now my dad married for many years. God, over a decade, I think, at this point. We're closing in on it. 14, I think maybe this year was a decade. Doesn't matter. But I also saw my father post my mother passing away, and they were together 30-some years. I saw the preceding years. Preceding is before. Following years. I saw the following years just get a little bit sadder and a little bit sadder. It's lonely, man. I was lonely. Nay says, if you need some content, my grieving father started dating again and accidentally sent me a dick pic that he meant for his girlfriend. Are you accidentally sent me what? Oh, no. If you're sending stuff like that, you got to be double, triple, dipple sure. I mean, you got to cross your eyes and twist your nipples, man. You need to make sure that thing is going to who it's supposed to go to. Like you load that one up in the chamber, like it's in the send area, and then you tap out of the send area and check the previous 10 messages and the contact, then close it all down as a draft and open it back up and check that the draft has got the right damn name. Either that or every time you stop texting your kids, you have to delete them. What would you even do? What would you even do if right now, right at this very moment, you were to receive a picture of the old man's crank? You just die immediately. You would die immediately. Game over, man. The late, great Bill Paxton. Game over, dude. Game over. No. Delete. Hit the reset button on life. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I think it's got to be 1,000 times worse. You send it to your daughter, right? The old man sends me a picture of his crank. I'm gonna crank one back at him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna send him the picture of my matched set that I send to my buddy Kevin all the time because he's a doctor. He's not. He's a nurse anesthetist. But sometimes I like to take a picture of him and then I'll like do his little cartoon drawings on top of it. I've given him like a top hat, like a mustache. And keep in mind, I am not talking about the star, the solo, the act. I'm not talking about Diana Ross. I'm talking about sending this guy the Supremes. Which I think for the rest of my life, I don't care. I don't care who that invites into my life. I don't care who cares. I'm for sure calling my downstairs action Diana Ross and the Supremes for the rest of my life. You heard it right here. Performing tonight. Woo! If you're looking to put your Motown show into action, a little later in the show, there's a new report out that contradicts, I think, what a lot of people commonly believe about hooking up and the easiest way to facilitate that. So as we kind of dive a little deeper into the show, we'll get into that. Did you see it just happened a couple of hours ago? Norm from Cheers died. Oh, and like at an age that you go, okay, 76. When I weigh that against the fact that my mom got to 55 and 11/12ths, 76 is a pretty good run. But God, dudes live to 90 sometimes. Rich dudes. 76 seems young. I mean, I don't know. I'll touch 76. But right, you know him from Cheers. George Wendt was his name. He's from Chicago. Okay. And he got in like a lot of people did, like Aykroyd and all of them. He got in on Second City. And then from there, he was on there was more than just Cheers in his lineup, but like it was Cheers. You know what I mean? Like that's what he did. But the funny thing about that, or I guess the tragic thing about that is I bet he didn't make a bunch of money off that. He didn't make retire money on Cheers. There's not a chance. It wasn't until Seinfeld that people started making retire me money. And even then, for them, it was Jerry that got Jerry and Larry David. I mean, the others got a little bit of syndication stuff and syndication in a way that no other place had done. But like, I don't believe that Ed O'Neill got a ton of money for Married with Children, and that put him on the map. Katie Seagal. I mean, you got Christina Applegate out of that. I can't name what's the guy's name? He's the only one that didn't get famous. And arguably, Ed O'Neill wasn't that famous for a while either. Like until Modern Family came back around and put him back in the forefront as another like TV dad. Like I remember him trying to turn to movies because, Fox was so crazy back then. Like Fox was the new network. Like a lot of people don't even think about that. Like, especially if you're a young person, you just think that TV's been around forever. Fox started in the 80s, like the late 80s. Fox caused like a breakup of superstars because Johnny Carson stopped talking to, what's her? Joan Rivers. I was going to say Melissa Etheridge. So it's Melissa Rivers. No, Johnny Carson stopped talking to Joan Rivers because Fox offered Joan Rivers a nighttime TV show to run against the Tonight Show. And she used to be a fill-in. Like, she was one of the earliest comedians that was ever on, like, especially female comedians that was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And Carson turned his back on her, all because she tried to go over to Fox. Chevy Chase tried to start a night show over at Fox. I mean, the only one that had any kind of, like, staying power on Fox was Arsenio. Arsenio tore it up for a while. Like, Arsenio was bad, dude. Like, he was good on the air, okay? That's for white people. That's what bad means, okay? I don't think that that's a black thing or anybody thing. I think that might be a white thing, saying bad. But stuff like Married with Children and old shows like that, Balky, remember Balky from Perfect Strangers? And was Perfect Strangers a spinoff? Either Perfect Strangers was a spinoff or something. Oh, Family Matters is a spinoff of Perfect Strangers. I went down this rabbit hole with Cam, my roommate, the other day about like TV shows and stuff like that. So when Norm comes up from Cheers, you go, God almighty, that 76 doesn't feel old enough. But then you look back and you go, how old was the cast of Cheers during it? And it's like 28 was one of them. Woody Harrelson was 28. I think Ted Danson was 30. They're late 20s. Yeah, they're late 20s and early 30s. I'm 43. Season 1, I'm 6 years older than Ted Danson. What the hell? When I was a kid, you'd look at Norm and you'd go, oh, Norm? It's like 45, 50, right? He was 34. I'm like 7 or 8 years older than Rhea Perlman back then. So like, it really makes you depressed. Like, Al Bundy was 38. And I'm a bigger loser than Al Bundy. Oh, no, and I'm 43. No. Don't applaud that. Who am I talking to? So, I don't know. It's just TV back in the day, those people got hosed. They weren't making syndication money because nobody had even thought about syndication. Like, it had just started to break into the lexicon even for shows. And then, like, rallying around each other. Obviously, the most famous story of TV shows rallying around each other was Friends. Here's a little fast fact for you. Friends heads. Are you the one that's obsessed and you know all of the ones with the other ones? Okay. Did you know this? That Friends was originally Ross's show. Let that sink in for a second. David Schwimmer was the biggest star at that point out of all of them. So the show was a vehicle for Ross's character. And then Courtney Cox and Matthew Perry got signed in because they were the next most important characters that were in there. Now, Courtney Cox, of course, had been in the Bruce Springsteen music video. And because I'm a super nerd, I know that she was in the He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren. Oh, yeah, she was in He-Man. Masters of the Universe. They didn't call it He-Man. They just called it Masters of the Universe. But those three were the big three. And then Phoebe and Rachel and Joey, they were ancillary characters. A la Big Bang. You know, they've got the three main characters. Big Bang came close to doing what Friends did, but they didn't go the full. They didn't go the full Monty. Because I don't remember what season it was, but it was time for contract negotiations. And now Friends is a monster, okay? And obviously, the Rachel character has been fleshed out better, and the Joey character is a bigger thing, and Phoebe, all of them. So they're all equal characters in the show. And obviously, when it first debuted, it was still heavy on Ross, but then it got mixed, right? But think of the biggest storylines. Ross and Rachel. I mean, Chandler and Monica were spicy, but like not like Ross and Rachel. But partway through the show, they banded together and they said, if you don't pay Matt LeBlanc and why can't I think of the other people's names? It doesn't matter. It does. Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow, which Lisa Kudrow, her story is insane because she was given the green light to come be on Friends when she already had another role on TV. So Lisa Kudrow, if you remember in Friends, Lisa Kudrow had a twin sister named Ursula, right? Ursula is the waitress in Mad About You with Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. What? So she was already locked into a contract, and they're like, oh, you can't go be on Friends. You're already the waitress. You're waitress 3 on Mad About You. Every once a month, you get to be on the air when they go down to the restaurant. So I believe that they were both in NBC properties. I don't remember that exactly. I remember a lot of stuff. I don't remember that for some reason. But they allowed her to be on Friends, and then they wrote the characters into the two places. I think even Phoebe came to Mad About You at one point. And Ursula's a total bitch, and Phoebe's like a ditz and like free floating and all of that. So it's just, you see the guys that you've been watching on TV, or the TV shows that you've been watching, and man, it makes you go, oh, kind of depressed when somebody goes, oh, that was 40 years ago. And you go, oh, I'm not talking about the 30s. Nah, dog. No, 40 years ago. God. That's 1985. We're farther ahead in the future than Back to the Future went for Back to the Future back. Go figure that one out. I got to witness something today that I think every parent has seen time and time again. What is it about a stranger that makes kids do this? I mean, it was a full-on performance. There was drama. There was intrigue. Risked injury. Yeah, she's flying without a net. Get into that. At That's Just Nelson. That's how you can find me on social media and connect with the show, anytime.
That's Just Nelson.
All right. And then we'll get in with
Nelson.
Yeah. Just. It's supposed to be just. But it is. That's so Nelson as well. That's Just Nelson. This used to be a radio show. The show is called That's Just Nelson. 402-302-1005. That, of course, is the phone number. You can text it. You can call it. You can leave a message. You can send a picture mail. They don't call it that anymore, but whatever. Also available Apple and Spotify. You could be listening to it that way right now. I don't know. I don't know where you are. If you connect with me on social media, then I know where you are. See how beautiful that works? Give me a call. It's literally my phone number. Jennifer over on Facebook says, I just started watching Cheers as an adult. We were talking about Norm previously on the show and how Norm passed away at 76. Makes sense now it makes more sense now than when I was 8. Yeah. Right. That reminds me of the first 2 CDs I was ever given. And when my mother went into, I don't know, Capitol Records or whatever it was, Tower Records, whatever was in the mall, she certainly did not go into Homer's here, which is a legendary record store in the Omaha area. But she walked in and said, what does a 13-year-old boy want? She came back with 2 CDs and a CD player, like a portable CD player, not a Walkman or a Discman, okay, but good enough. It had anti-skip, all right? If you're young, you don't know what that means. But it had anti-skip, so it was at least that good. So here's how it went down. It was Dookie by Green Day, which if you could take a CD and wear the grooves off of it, the laser grooves, I did it. I played that thing. I know it front to back. I bet if you I couldn't like rapidly sing them right now without anything, but I bet if you just gave me karaoke beds, I would have most of the lyrics in my head for the entire catalog. All the way up to, I was talking about this the other day, The secret songs. The secret songs. Kids today, this is my uphill both ways. Kids today will never know about the secret track on a CD. They won't know about rap skits, because rap stars don't do skits anymore. T-Pain kept them alive for a little while, and T.I. And they won't know about secret tracks, where out of nowhere you're listening to that Green Day CD and the last track plays and you're like, what the heck happened? There's nothing playing. And then like 10 minutes deeper, it's no one was looking. I was all by myself. But the other CD that my mother purchased was the CD Purple by the Stone Temple Pilots that has such tracks as Meat Plow and Vaseline and Interstate Love Song. I'm not going to license the music, so that's what you get. Sorry. Okay. I'm not going to do a Scott Stapp. Not Scott Stapp. That was Creed. Why can't I say this guy? What's his dang name now? Oh my God. I hate that I can't think of now. I can't get it out of my head. I can only hear. I can only see Scott Stapp in front of my head. And now it's like you get one of those brain farts. And they say that it's not even worth your time to try and remember it. Just look it up. It doesn't make you any smarter if you look it up or don't look it up. Scott Weiland. It did come back to me before I had to look it up. Shout out me. Thank you. Thank you. One more? Okay. Thank you. Please. No photography, please. No photography. This is the dumbest show. How is it still going? Stop with the paparazzi. God in heaven. You'd think I would know how to hit my own buttons here. I popped in the Stone Temple Pilot CD. I had no freaking clue what was going on. I go, what is this? Boom, got thrown into a drawer. Just beat the brakes off of that Green Day CD, Dookie, right? This, I'm 13. Now fast forward. I'm almost 17. I'm working at a restaurant called Taco John's. This Taco John's doesn't even exist anymore, so I don't feel bad talking about it, okay? And I had a manager, Isaac. That's all I'll give you. Isaac was the first guy to ever get me high. Not a Coke or anything. It was just a little green, right out of a crappy, one of those old metal pipes. Anyone who smoked pot in like the 90s knows this pipe. It's the compartmentalized pipe that you could like switch the direction so you could make it into a cool little oney, or you like flip it around and you'd screw it in this way. And it was all like, it got so hot because it was just metal and it was caked with resin. There was never a time you were taking a hit out of one of those stupid metal pipes that it wasn't caked with resin. And then it had like that bulb. That's what Isaac was hitting. And had like the little cap on it that had a small hole so that it would conserve. And I got like movie stoned. I got so high, I couldn't say like an order number. Like I was supposed to hand out these tacos and I'm like, oh no, I can't do it, man. It wasn't even like double entendre. It was rotondro, however the hell you say that word. It was literally, I couldn't talk. I was just stupid high, right? I go home. I had to get dropped off. I don't think I was even driving at that point. Like, I got dropped off. I get home. I go downstairs. I got some tacos with me. And I'm just going to mow on these tacos, dude. This is going to be the best tacos ever. I need some music, man. What the heck's going on here? Open up my drawer. Oh, excuse me. Open up my drawer. Shining. I haven't seen this CD in 3 years plus. Somehow it's on top of the junk drawer. Stone Temple Pilots. And I tell you, on that day, I did know that we were flies stuck in the Vaseline. It was just like a whole world exploded in front of me. Oh my God. What is happening? Marijuana is great. And then I would only be able to get high at Taco John's because I didn't have a marijuana guy because I was scared of it. When I was a kid, one time, the earliest kids who smoked pot were in junior high. And I asked a kid once, every kid who's a nerd or a lame kid who wants to try and smoke pot but doesn't know how to smoke pot, every one of those kids will eventually ask someone else how much weed is a bowl. And it's the worst system of measurement on the planet. Because it's like a bowl of weed, okay, is literally the equivalent, like understanding a bowl of weed is literally the equivalent of you can't get hired at this job until you've already worked at this job. Because all you can say, the only response you can say, and it's the correct response, somebody comes up to you and goes, hey, so like I'm trying to wrap my head around this. How much weed is a bowl of weed? And the only answer you can say is, it's a bowl, man. It's a bowl. It's very dependent upon your bowl. It's got to be your bowl, man. I don't know. How big is your bowl? That's what I'm trying to ask you. It's not who's on first, dude. Show me your pipe. Oh, I don't have one. Therein lies the problem. So that's all it is. It's the amount of weed that will fill the receptacle that you are smoking out of. But there's not one person that can articulate that at that age where they're just trying to ask. I said weed too many times on TikTok, and now only people over the age of 18 can watch my TikTok. Oh, and I'm not eligible for recommendation. It's restricted in search results because I do not comply with the For You feed eligibility standards. Excuse me. I did kind of go on a tear about how great it was. I didn't use the secret terms. Excuse me. You know, now that you broadcast on social media, you have to say like unalive, and you got to say gardening. You got to say gardening. Stupid. Why don't they just block gardening? They know that gardening is the trigger word. Whatever. So laying upon the top of the pile there is Stone Temple Pilots, Purple, and it was just magic. It was just all coming together as one. I don't know. Maybe I'm living in the past. Why is it that all children do this when there is a stranger in the house? When there is a guest, especially a guest they don't know. Now, if it's someone they know, you're not running into this on the same level, I don't think. Depending on the age of your child, I think it might change that. But why is it as soon as there is a stranger in their house, immediately it's the big top circus, and I have got to start dancing and showing off and like just getting in all up in people's stuff. Just some adults hanging out, trying to talk, and all of a sudden, Penelope announces her entrance into the room. And if this kid could be any more a carbon copy of me, I think it might be illegal. I don't think that she is legally allowed to be any more me. So like the show, that's just Nelson, right? My name, Nelson. Okay. It's like my joke is, it's like, no, I'm not gonna tell you my joke. You can hear it some other time. It's not my only name, but I like people to believe it's my only name. I just have one name. I don't. I have a first name. It's Josh. And so I will call Penelope JJ. She's Josh Jr. And this was in full effect today. We were in total JJ mode. I never see this kid. She is nowhere to be found in the house other than I know she's in her room. I know that's where she's kicking it live in her room. Get this. Oh, she comes out. Penelope has recently discovered in the last couple of months that she is very flexible. And I recently discovered today that she is very strong. Very strong. A lot of good core control. So if you can imagine, my daughter will like lay face down, right? And like, imagine like you're in the position that you would see someone like in the 80s on a TV show where their elbows are on the ground and they're holding their head and then their body is back behind them and then their little legs are just kicked up behind them, right? And their little feet are together and you're just laying there. Now, from that position, she can grab either foot and almost bend it so far around that she can put the foot flat on the ground. So what you're going to want to imagine is, if you're not getting it from that description, you know, when you're getting ready to work out or whatever, and you do that maneuver where you grab the ankle and then you're pulling that hamstring, right? Because you're pulling the calf up into your butt. You're pulling your foot up to your butt, right? Now imagine you get your foot to your butt and you go, this isn't far enough. And you just keep wrenching your leg over almost to the point where your knee is going to corkscrew off. And that's what she can do. And it's her favorite thing to come and show people. And then second place is she lays down on her stomach again and then bends her head backwards and then puts her feet onto her forehead, and like her toes can cover up her eyes. She bends her body like a seal, you know, like sitting on the rock there. But if she takes her flippers and can make goggles out of her feet. And of course, nobody's supposed to be this bendy. So she knows it gets a rise out of people, which again is a total JJ thing, is a total me thing, because she's trying to get your attention. And it's working. It works. It never fails to kill. It's like her go-to material. But anytime she has someone new to perform for, that's when you're going to see this busted out. And then the next level of it that just makes me just know that she's mine through and through, even if it wasn't that she looks like me and all of this, okay? This woman has got so many details. So many details. I thought I had details. This woman has details. A story I like to tell about how Josh talks too much in class, which was what all my report cards said growing up. But one of my favorite stories to tell was in 8th grade, we had to give book reports. And there was like 12 book reports throughout the year. It's like every month you had a book report. So when you gave the book report, you would have to write everything down, and then you would have to give an oral presentation, but you didn't have to do it in front of the class, okay? The teacher, whatever her name was, God, I wish I could remember some of my teachers' names, but she would just have you come and you would sit back at her desk, and then you could give the report there. I gave 2 book reports, and the third time out of like the 12 of them that we did, she just looks me in the face and she goes, "You read the book, sit down." Because your boy was going to go on a tear, and you were going to know every individual detail, because I don't want you to miss anything, because I loved the book, so I'm almost certain you are going to love the book. And so as I watched this little pretty princess putting her best performance on today, I was both horrified and so proud. So proud of her. Yes. Oh, Penelope. We told you earlier about Nay having a slip up with her dad. Her dad actually accidentally sent the old eggplant picture to her instead of the new girlfriend. And it went right along with this story that I just saw. If all you wanted to do was hook up, ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. But if all you wanted to do was hook up, what do you think would be the quickest avenue to meet a person who would also be in that same vein? Is it an app? Is it out in public? If it is an app, what app? We're going to unpack that. You might be surprised. That's next.
You're listening to That's Just Nelson.
You see, the thing is, when we grow this, as this becomes a force, then on Spotify, there will be commercials there, because I will be then able to monetize the show. Not a lot of them, and you'll be able to skip through them, dude, but you got to let your boy get paid. I mean, if you like the show, you would want me to at least make it. I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm not freaking stern, dude. I just want to prove to radio that this is better. And I've seen so many other people doing that. All right. This is one of my favorites right here. What time?
Peanut
That's
butter Nelly time.
just Nelson.
Peanut butter Nelly time. Come on, let's go.
Peanut butter Nelly time. They say that Tinder is no more reliable than meeting people in the wild. Is there any chance that that's accurate? Isn't it? I mean, Tinder is the one, right, for hookups? Tinder's the one I did the most hooking up on when I had the old HO phase. Right, because you got to have one. You don't have to have one. I guess that's really trashy, but you got post-divorce, it's going to happen. Okay, post-divorce, post-long-term relationship, you get out and sometimes you wanna, right? You really, really, really want to zig-a-zig-ah. And it was always Tinder. Like everything that I did in the dating world since post-divorce, the major relationships I've had have all come from Bumble. Tinder has definitely been a hookup spot. Maybe that's different now. Maybe things are changing. I don't know. People who use Tinder and other picture-based mobile dating apps aren't having any more casual nonsense than people who don't. Take comfort in you're not using Tinder wrong, they say. You're not unappealing. It's not you, it's them, which totally sounds like it was written by a guy and totally written by a guy who is not getting any swipes. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? Come on. It sounds like a bitter dude wrote that. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard that a guy has to swipe 200 times. He's like, I just had to swipe an average of 200 times to get a coffee date. Like, wow, it's ugly out there. But I think that that's like factoring in or not factoring in enough. It's like there's a little bit of nuance to that, isn't there? Because I guarantee guys with the sea gutters are getting a lot more matches than guys with the gravy gutters, which I have. But when it comes to hooking up, if that's the thing, if that's what you're the mojo you're looking for, this apparently is the definitive list of what you need. That's not what I wanted. This is the definitive list. None of these are right. I thought I had the right one. It doesn't matter. If you're looking for a hookup, according to this survey, the best hookup app overall, I think everyone's not surprised here, is Tinder, right? Okay, so we got Tinder. And then, of course, this is a promoted ad, and I know this is a promoted ad because there's no one on the history of the planet that actually uses this website. If you're looking for a casual encounter, you just go to Adult Friend Finder. No, you don't. No, you don't. You do, and you spend money, and I don't know that for sure, but what would you think the best hookup app for women is? The best hookup app for women. Good. I like that one. If you said Bumble, you would be absolutely correct. It's according to market research and according to surveys that were done with actual humans, not the bots. If you were looking for the best hookup app for gay men, I think it's a no-brainer on that one. You'd be looking for Grindr. Now, I had an opportunity to ask this question the other day, and I didn't have an answer for it until right now. What is the female version of Grindr? Because Grindr is just for dudes, which I was kind of certain it was just for dudes, but I wasn't 100. But apparently there is an app, and if you are looking for just some hooking up, if you're looking for a good old-fashioned clam bake, you gotta get yourself the app Her. Oh yeah, I'm with her. Best dating app for, I don't understand what this means. Best dating app for regular hookups. Does that just mean like vanilla? Is that like, Is that just missionary only? If you're only looking for missionary, then you're going to be looking for OkCupid. And then the best dating app for inclusivity, Hinge. Actually, I got those incorrect. Excuse me. If you want to be inclusive, you go to OkCupid. If you want to have a regular hookup, whatever a regular hookup is, you're going to want to go with Hinge. But the real one, this is the creme de la creme. The best dating app to accidentally find a married man. That's absolutely right. It is Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish, of course. Plenty of Fish is littered with douchebag dudes who are trying to cheat on their wife. Don't fall for it. POF. And he's going to send you a picture of his crank, just like Nay's dad. Only he's going to do it maliciously, and Nay's dad was just trying to hook up with his girlfriend. He didn't want to send it to his daughter. Regular hookups. It's like a little bit of the old dry. It's above the pants stuff. It's Mormonish. Regular. Or is it about consistency? That's what I can't tell. I don't know why the Hinge came in there. I think it's just that Hinge paid for that. Is that what you could say? I call those the big three. Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. I can't think of any other ones that people would actually... maybe Match. Match didn't come in there anywhere. But Match is about making relationships. Don't bury the lead. Well, that's up next. This, well, it used to be a radio show.
That's just Nelson.
Don't bury the lead. What you
Don't.
trying to do? Don't bury the lead. Just don't bury the lead. What you trying to do? Don't bury the lead.
Don't you dare. In New Orleans, a jail maintenance worker was arrested for helping 10 inmates escape by turning off the water to a toilet, because nothing says secure facility like an escape plan that starts with a support ticket. The worker claims he was threatened by one of the inmates, which is fair, but so was the toilet. You know, and it still held it together, right? You got to have a little composure. Michelle Williams revealed that living with Ryan Gosling during Blue Valentine as they were filming was horrible. Apparently, they spent 2 weeks together trying to annoy each other to prepare for their roles as a couple falling out of love, including burning their character's wedding photo to get into character. Meanwhile, I burn my ex's photos just to save space on my phone. Which is a real pain in the ass, too, because you got to print them off first, and then you still have to delete them. I'd probably just delete them. In a 46-day online chess match, Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen faced off against over 143,000 players worldwide simultaneously, and it ended in a draw. Viewers were quick to question if the contest was legit, however, claiming no way that many neckbeards got together in one place online and didn't try to draw genitals. And as long as we're talking about genitals in our final story, in Diddy's sex trafficking trial, a dancer named The Punisher testified that he was hired to perform for Diddy and his girlfriend without realizing it was Diddy. That was, of course, until the Hotel TV said, "Welcome, Sean Combs." And honestly, if you're performing sex acts for a mysterious man in a veil surrounded by candles and baby oil, you better hope you're called The Punisher and not the victim. That's just Nelson.
That's just Nelson.
That's how you can find me on social media and the show daily, Monday through Friday, podcasts, Apple and Spotify, Daylish. 402-302-1005, of course, the phone number to the show. And currently under construction, that's justnelson.com. It's the part of the show where I tell you, take your pills, go pop them in. If you're listening to this in the morning, you got to get them in. Why? Because they work. You're feeling good. And it's okay that you need them, dude. Keep taking the pills. Check on your happy friends. And we'll talk again tomorrow. You can catch it live. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. They're all there. It's That's Just Nelson.
That's Just Nelson. This used to be a radio show presentation.
I'm Penny Nelson. My name is Rowan Nelson. Thank you for listening to the show. Thanks for listening to the show. Have a good day and have an awesome day. I love you too.
Oh, I love that kid. I love that kid. I love you. I love you and you and you and you and you and you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for telling your friends about the show and sharing the live and the likes and the gifts and the subscriptions and everything. And we will continue this train. Love you. Bye-bye. I'm still here with you, YouTube. Hold on. Facebook, I'm still with you. That was just TikTok, but TikTok doesn't know that it was just TikTok. And now I say I love you. Bye-bye to you. Stop.